Hello and a very warm welcome to your favorite show, GBS Panorama, and I'm glad that you're joining us for your favorite segment, Your Date with GBS Panorama. Currently in the country and in the mind of every Kenyan is the escalating insecurity in the country, and needless to overemphasize, if the situation is left unattended to, then things might get out of hand. It is for this reason that we had to look for this man, the retired Captain Simiyu Werunga. And viewer, being the director at the Africa Center for Security and Strategic Studies, this date couldn't have come at a better time when the need and the desire to have a resolve towards this menacing problem is every Kenyan's desire. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. And now, sir, being the director at the Africa Center for Security and Strategic Studies, and according to your own analysis and your assessments, what would you say is not adding up towards the security situation in the country?
My opinion is that this is a culmination of serious lapses in the modernization of our security sector up to this point, where we realize the government has not been modernizing our security sector. It has not been refreshing the sector. It has not been capacitating them in terms of technology. And what we see in this country now is a manifestation of that lapse for a very long time, where we have crime trends changing from time to time, but the government and the security organs don't seem to be in tandem with what they need to do to prevail upon what we are seeing in the country. The country has very solid structures in terms of percolation down to the common person. The biggest issue we are having here is our systems are lacking some coordination in terms of the intelligence, the policing, and the executive. Now, when you lack that centralized coordination of the security sector in this country, then you find some of the things we are seeing in this country, where you'll find a senior police officer saying, I was not aware, I was not informed, we were not given the intelligence. You find the provincial police officer saying this court is unawares. That to me shows serious lapses in terms of coordination.
Maybe as a captain as you were before, and also in the private practice at the moment, what would you point out as the major problem that is maybe bedeviling the country?
One, okay, I don't like going into politics, but of course we have serious ones in our political leadership and governance. But I think when you don't have very solid governance that percolates down to us, then that reflects in the instruments of state that are meant to assist Kenyans live safely and secure. Then you find that our security sector tends to relax and be seen to be serving the executive instead of the people. But when we come down to the policing section itself, policing sector, what we notice is lack of professionalism. There's serious under-professionalism that we see being perpetuated in our policing. And that is the reason why when people are talking about reforms, we are looking at how we can cover those lapses so that we bring them to par with international best practices. Any police service is supposed to be equipped well to be able to deal with changing trends in crime. Crime is not static, crime is dynamic. It keeps on changing as the world evolves. What we've seen in this country for a very long time, our police services have not been equipped fully to our understanding of what is a well-equipped police service. They don't have enough vehicles, their weaponry is old age, the equipment and tools of trade, we call them tools of trade, are very archaic in nature. Their communication system is one of the oldest I think they are using now. So everything has been left to rot. And when you have a system that is not well equipped, is not technologically savvy in terms of what is happening in the world, then you always tend to find that we become reactionary in terms of dealing with the crime instead of being proactive.
I was wondering, you've been talking about past freezing of recruitments in the police service as the major issue that is now maybe reflecting to what we are facing in the country at the moment. Maybe could you touch on that?
Yeah, initial stages, yes, that freezing for 3 years, and before that, because of donor funding and whatever, impacted negatively on the numbers that we need to have in the country. When our forces start modernizing, at the end of the day, essentially it will not be the number. but their capacity and the tools and the technology that they'll have for them to fight crime in this country. I'm told there's a shortfall of 1,300 from this recruitment instead of 7,000. And yes, we are told the people are fearing because of what they saw in Baragoi. But policing is not a job, it's a calling. So if you fear joining the police, then the country will continue having the few that are willing, but slowly we beef up the number until we feel that. So I don't think it's going to have an impact in terms of our preparation for the elections.
Fresh in every Kenyan mind is the Baragoi killings that have really tainted our internal security badly. And maybe would you comment something on that? Yeah.
Okay, let me speak from an operational perspective.
Yes.
And considering that I've been part of these things once, I've been to Baragoi, I know Suguta Valley. Yeah. What we notice, and I speak for myself, and I'm sure others have shared this with me, is that there was a major lapse of judgment in terms of the officers who are given the mandate to go and pursue the cattle rustlers. Yes. We seem not to have had a serious operational plan, which is supposed to be done by any commander at that level. We seem not to have briefed our officers well on what the expectations are in the valley, and we don't seem to have equipped them in terms of longevity. And that's why when the officers were attacked, they had no fallback position. So to me, the police commissioner should answer Kenyans, why do we continue doing this when we know when you are going to deal with cattle rustlers, it's not about dealing with a burglary.
We've seen the KDF being sent to maybe places whereby it is the constitutional mandate of the internal security to maybe do the operations there. Yes. And it has really raised an uproar. We don't know who is telling the truth. So what is
no, divide. Which one? Which parts are we talking about? Because there's a Baragoi
let's talk about
and there's a Garissa. The Baragoi, the law allows the military to play a role in that. The military has two roles. One is against external aggression, and the second role, we call it the secondary role, is to assist the civilian police to maintain law and order within the country. So, and the only time they are allowed to go and do what they are being asked to do is when the government, in its best judgment, the government has realized that the police has been overwhelmed.
The retaliatory attacks from maybe the terror groups, be it Al-Shabaab or from different forces, like what would you comment on this? Is the country really prepared appropriately towards tackling this internally? Because you know we already did a good job at Somalia, or rather in Somalia.
Okay, these were two parts. One was for the military, which did a fantastic job. The other one was for the police, because the expectations were there that when you deal with them in Somalia, they will retaliate here. And terrorists don't retaliate once. They engage in such a manner that at the end of the day, the country must feel the pinch. Because they've been shamed, they've been humiliated, so they expect to do a lot of havoc in this country, just to show the country and the world that we are still there. Now, when we have two organs of state, defense forces and police, working in tandem, that you take care of the external, we take care of the internal, then you find that the internal is not doing very well. Then you start asking questions. When we were planning to go to Somalia, wasn't the police also being prepared for this? That is the question we keep on asking. So while we shall say that they're not doing a good job, we know they're trying, but I think that is the question we should be asking the leaders in the sector.
And now, sir, we know the number of reforms currently shaping up in the police service. Do you believe in the reforms themselves?
I do. I do. I've been part of that game from the day Ransley landed in this country. We gave our views, we participated in those views, we participated in validation processes, and although it's taken time, but everything that we wanted to be done is taking shape. So that's why I believe.
And maybe your final take as far as ensuring this insecurity is curbed in the country, what would you advise maybe the government first and then Kenyans as a whole?
One, I think the government has not worked with Kenyans properly. Collaboration, partnership, to work together in terms of ensuring we are safe. I think, and my advice has been always, please government, try and work with Kenyans in a structured manner so that they play their role, we call it civic duty, to ensure that their neighborhoods are safe, that they become keepers to each other, and they also assist the police to maintain law and order.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
sir, for
Thank you.
giving
Pleasure.
us,
Pleasure. Pleasure.
Well, viewers, you've heard from the horse's mouth, and I tell you, this man has been in the practice for a very long time. It is about a structured, collaborative approach that will help us solve this security situation in the country. For me, my name is Jojo Kachi. See you again next time.